Hello and welcome to today's episode of Platinum Talks Wealth. Emmy Nominated journalist Jennifer Rogers Markwell changed gears in her television career when she realized the need to help women make sense of investing. She regularly hosts educational workshops to empower women and others to take charge of their financial future. Now, join your host, Platinum Wealth Management President Jennifer Rogers Markwell, as she leads us into the world of money memories, money infidelities, and how these can mold our relationship with our personal finances as adults. Let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, it's Jennifer Rogers Markwell, and you're joining us on the Platinum Talks Wealth podcast. Today, we're joined by Sarah Hunter. Sarah, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat today.
Well, tell us more about yourself, what you do, and why you do what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Sarah. I help female entrepreneurs to expand beyond their limitations, the fears, the doubts, the bullshit thoughts, to really step into their true potential. So my background is hypnotherapy, it's breathwork, it's ancestral trauma. So it really is the mind, the body, the soul, all of the things, helping you to those things that have been imposed onto you, whether it's from your family, society, whomever, the limitations that you put on yourself, to really understanding that when you step beyond that you really are limitless, that you have so much potential that maybe you're not utilizing right now.
How did you, to go off kind of on a side note, how did you end up in that profession? Was it something in your world that gravitated you towards that, or how did you end up going there?
Yeah, so I actually was working for my family business. We're in dentistry. We have been for decades, and it just wasn't fulfilling me. It wasn't what my soul was meant to do here. And so I was actually invited to take the clinical hypnotherapy training. It was right at the beginning of the pandemic in the UK. And so I was like, why not? Like, everything's going online now. Everything's so much more accessible. So I took that, and it was this real moment of like, oh, I'm actually really good at this. It's something that I'd never I think I'd had like a couple of sessions at this point. I wasn't aware of it. And one thing led to another. I got invited then on to do the rebirthing breathwork. I then found someone on a podcast, the amazing Mark Willin, and trained with him in ancestral trauma. And it was really a matter of the things that were helping me in my personal life, realizing that I get to train in these things, that I get to help other people, the things that were maybe in part of my story. Like, that's why I did ancestral trauma, because it was such a part of my story that I then realized that, like, hey, if I'm feeling like this and if this is helping me, I can help so many other people with this as well.
So for folks that don't know, because I feel like that's probably very mainstream, but I'm sure there's a population that has no idea of what some of that means. Like, what does that mean?
So the ancestral trauma part.
Well, yeah, and all of the above. Like,
okay,
hypnosis, we know, right? For the most part, I would think most people do,
Sure.
but there's different nuances that you're sharing.
Absolutely. Okay, so to give a real quick overview, I guess, of hypnosis, you're tapping into the subconscious where all your memories, your beliefs about yourself, like all of that's held. So all of the beliefs that you have, your behaviors, they're all within the subconscious. So if you want to reprogram, if you want to, lose weight, stop smoking, feel more confident, it's all going to happen in the subconscious. So rebirthing breathwork is really about, and then, if you're more on the science side of things, there's been lots of scientific studies that when you experience something, whether it's a really good memory or a really powerful or an upsetting memory, it's actually encoded into our DNA. It's actually held within the body, the fight and flight, the freeze, that's all held within you. And so what breathwork does is it helps you to not only tap into the subconscious, the mind, but also tap into the body. So you are able to release the memories, the things that, so let's just say, for example, that every time you have a bad memory with money, and every time you go to spend money, it gets reactivated and you go into that fear, you go into that flight mode. It helps you to release that memory from your body so that then you become, neutral with it, or you can actually feel more empowered by it. It helps you to remove the memory from your body and instill a new, better memory, I guess. And then ancestral trauma is all about the experiences, the beliefs, the things that our ancestors experienced. So whether it's your parents, your grandparents, your great-great-great-grandparents, whoever it is in your family tree, like it's so impactful, right? We're all told about stories about, I don't know, Grandpa Joe and what he did with his money and how he lost it all because he gambled, or someone got in a car crash. So always like go really steady when you're on a highway. Like all of these things that we're told from our parents, from our grandparents, like things that have happened in our family, those things live within us. And as I said with the breath work, those memories, those things get stored in our DNA, and they can actually be passed down from parent to child. But these things get passed down through the generations. So you'll find that sometimes, as I said before, the beliefs, the doubts, the fears, they're not actually yours. They're not actually from your own experiences, maybe as a child or as a young adult. They're actually from someone else in your family.
So that, I mean, is the perfect transition into money memories, right? Really?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, such an overlap on that. Just like thinking of a money memory per se, right? But definitely a tie-in to that.
Yeah. But is it from a parent? Is it from someone else? Like, what is this memory? What is this belief that you have? And we don't always need to know the exact thing for you to feel better, right? Like, it's not a case of like re-traumatizing yourself or reliving it, but maybe just having the awareness of like, hey, this isn't even mine to carry. It's not my responsibility. It's not my weight. It doesn't even belong to me.
Yeah. I mean, throughout this podcast, right, that's a lot of the stories that we've been hearing. Money memories that people have that they carry with them. But generally, it's through a verbal or through an experience physically that they've had as well. Are you finding that on your side too? Not only the embedded, even deeper money memory kind of scenarios, but also kind of the more surface ones where something happened that's an experience that really has led the way for that person having the relationship with money as an adult potentially.
Absolutely. And, I even heard a story a couple of months ago now of someone who, they were a young child and they actually like accidentally swallowed a coin and choked on the coin.
Oh.
I mean, they were fine, but obviously you can imagine as a very young child how much that was like tainted their beliefs about money being safe, about money, is such a core memory, at any age. But, that literal sense of like, we go into it so much of like, as you said, then like embedded memories of like really powerful things, but it can really be just as simple as like, money not feeling safe because you choked on it or because it cut you once or, things like that. It doesn't need to be something incredible and something huge, because you've got to remember, like before the age of 7, like you're just working with the subconscious. There's no logical there. There's no analytical side of your brain. So everything that you're experiencing, you're taking as like the ultimate truth, and especially as children, of course, like it's not always going to be the actual truth. It's going to be how you've understood that experience, how you've understood what you've heard or what you've seen. So yes, you choked on it and it was awful, but now it means that money's unsafe, that you can't trust yourself to keep yourself, safe and well and all of these things. So it really doesn't need to be anything huge.
Well, but it can be on the flip side too. But no, that's
Absolutely.
fascinating. I haven't heard literally that. I mean, but you're right. That comes back to that's your own truth, and how you remember that story embeds to you as your own truth, whether that's the real truth or the truth that you just remember as being absolutely your personal truth.
Yes. Yeah. And it's such a distinctive difference, right? There's your truth, there's someone else's truth, and then there's like the actual truth. Like, I feel personally that an entrepreneur is such a distinct type of person, to put yourself out there, to run a business, to be that kind of person. I do think we're all a certain type, right? We're all kind of, you could put us in a room when we'd all have quite a few commonalities. And I think for that reason, that there are things across the board, like money, like trauma, like, things that have happened in our childhood, that you do tend to see commonalities of threads of like and how it's created the type of person. So people that have experienced maybe people knocking their confidence, people not believing in them, of like distrusting themselves and their abilities. Maybe people didn't think that they'd be able to get to much in life. I think that so many entrepreneurs have these things that we all experience that really leads us to being this type of person.
Fascinating that you say that, because I would say the majority of folks that I've interviewed and chatted with and had conversations with on this podcast have all leaned into that entrepreneurial spirit as well. Right. And I feel like that's a unique person, which I may be attracting because I'm that person too, of wearing many hats, right? Like you're wearing many, many hats. You're going in many, many different directions. And I feel like that is definitely something that we've talked through on many of these podcasts as well.
Yeah. And, there's not to say that obviously you can be any kind of entrepreneur, that we are so different in so many ways. But I think that that's the thing, that when you get to the core of who we all are, of what really drives us, the ambition, the tenacity, all of those things. Like, I think at the core that we are all so similar of what drives us to being an entrepreneur.
Fascinating. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And as we kind of wrap things up, I always like to ask any tips or tricks that you have in your household, with your relationship with money. Is there anything that you're open to sharing?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's something that would usually be shared on here, but as you said that question, what came to mind, my husband and I really love to travel, and we love to travel. We don't have children, so this is like where our main income goes. And we really love to have travel that feels really good for us. And so if anyone's aware of people in the UK, my husband is from the north of England, where they love to save money. They love to get a great deal on everything. And so for us, it's a case of having credit cards that give us points that go to flights. And so because of that, like, this is where we utilize like saving money as such, that all of our business class, we're flying first class to the Maldives, like in a couple of months' time, like because of the point systems on the credit cards. Like we're able to take these flights because of the money we can save, the points on that. So that's our version of saving in our household.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I greatly appreciate it. And you're coming from Singapore, so time difference as well. So I greatly appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much, Jennifer.
Oh, my pleasure. And thanks all of you for joining us as well, whether you're watching us or listening to us. We hope that you'll join us again on the next Platinum Talks Wealth podcast.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, Platinum Talks Wealth, please subscribe and share. For more information about Jennifer Rogers Markwell or Platinum Wealth Management, please visit www.platinumwealth.net. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member of FINRA and SIPC. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. The guest speakers and their companies are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial or Platinum Wealth Management.